Do we want to move ahead somewhere?
I'd like to
Take care of some older business?
I'd like to go to, because he's probably charging us hourly. Oh, wait, there is no pre-construction charges.
Well, then let's not go out of order.
Life safety capital improvements, if we wanted, we could bring up Joe Papa-Nicholas. Let's summarize the current project and then talk about his agreement and Kerry's agreement, and then we could just vote on those later when we get to them.
So we have some handouts, right? And we have the construction manager at risk contract, bid 170, right? Is that what
Correct.
we're going to go over?
Yeah, the first thing I would refer to is the handouts that the board has in front of them.
Okay.
And this is just the most recent RFP log. And the only RFPs that we have open, if you look at, I'll let Joe speak to this.
Yes, if you look at both of these logs, there are no more caps to submit in response to RFPs. So the cap log is current in relationship to the RFP log as of this point in time. There are a couple other RFPs coming our way, but as of right now, we're current. There are 2 pending caps. All other caps have been addressed, so they've either been approved or revised or not accepted, things like that. So,
Any surprises coming down the pike?
no, none, zero.
So, what about the slippery floor in the locker room? Is that
Well,
it?
there's 2 options right now that we've obtained pricing. Those are in for review.
Okay. And are we doing anything about the lighting on the street in this project? Because we're doing a temporary light that's blinding the people in the bleachers.
That I'm not privy to myself personally.
There is nothing planned in this project. We had worked with ComEd. When the board exits tonight, you'll see by the garage, there is one, we worked with ComEd and we worked with the Village of Brookfield about a year ago to get an additional street light put in over that crosswalk, because it's pretty dark. The problem is that we still have, when we have large crowds, there's some dark areas, and it's very hard to get everybody to walk through that crosswalk, and we almost had a couple close calls, so it was decided to get that light to help out with. So maybe we just need to work on looking at positional light until I can revise something, maybe with the Village of Brookfield, about getting better street lighting on that street. But that was not a part of our construction plan for the stadium.
Okay.
The 2 caps that Joe was referring to, that's on that looks like a Christmas tree, the red, green, and then you'll see there's only 2 yellow. We had some punch list items related to the flooring in the stadium, so I'm trying to come up with a couple other options with Joel, and then we're working with Nicholas and the contractors that did that work on the punch list, and see what's able to be offset by credits from some of our concerns with the punch list items, and trying to find some alternative methods. I'd like to see this go lower than the current RFPs, which is why they're still pending. I'm trying to come up with some other options.
What remains to be done for this, what you're doing now, Joe?
Off the top of my head, just very few items. The most significant one is obviously the track surfacing, the striping work. So that shop drawing is in for review now. We expect approval back on that shortly, and then when the weather's right, we plan on striping it.
Can it still be done this year?
Yes. I mean, and if the weather isn't conducive to that, then I'll have to be pushed to the spring when the weather breaks.
What shop drawings have to be approved?
The layout, the striping layout.
Who
Just
approves that?
That'll be between DLA and the district
Oh, okay.
together.
We have a couple copies of the track coaches have met with the track striper once, and the next time we're going to wait for a track striper to be on site to go through with our coaching staff. When you look at those shops,
Doesn't IHSA have a standard for striping tracks?
yeah,
It's more the little details.
Oh,
You know,
right.
do you want just numbers or shadow numbers?
Oh, okay.
Things
exchange
like that.
triangles.
They want to stripe it one time.
Yeah,
So-
okay, gotcha.
So we're working through that with the track striper right now. The second thing is the biggest thing for phase 2 is the fence is beginning to be installed
Around the
around the
football
entire
stadium?
track.
Okay,
That's supposed to start Friday.
okay.
We have some minor punch list items.
Yep.
Probably the biggest punch list is just figuring out what to do with the floor.
Right. And then just warranty items as different items come up, whether it's a piece of hardware that loosens over time or whatnot, we address it as they come up.
I had a question on Saturday when I was at the game. I noticed that some of the track surface was bubbling a bit. I'm assuming that gets all worked out.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So what happened
Yep.
was, with that process, if you came to the first playoff game, you saw some track had the rubber on it,
Yep.
some just had like a red painted dye.
Yep.
So the second thing is then they put that rubber on it and seal it. So they put the rubber on, help seal it, and then what they do is they go over with a big brush and blower, and they blow the other particles around to kind of fill in dead spots, and then break up all the excess rubber and remove it. So when it rained on Thursday night, you could not remove that rubber that was wet. So that had to just sit there. So that's why the track looked like there was moguls all over it on the south end and the one straightaway. And so that's all been cleaned up, and we walked it today, and we did depth confirmations with the track installer, where he punches holes in the track to make sure it's the proper thickness throughout random points. We did that today, and they finished patching a couple spots, and so we're hoping that possibly this weekend they might do some striping this weekend, because that's those are the two best days in the 10-day forecast. Is where we left our conversation today.
Thanks.
Phase 3, we're holding on as we work out our situation with the village.
Yep, that'll remain pending until further notice.
And I believe most, if not all, of our roof items, punch list, the roof ladders, and that was completed.
It's been completed.
So that part is pretty much tied up now. It's just warranty information on the roofs. And then we just had, like he said, some minor warranty and punch items. We're still waiting for the one final coiling door to be installed in the garage, but again, all minor issues.
Yeah, we have the door. It's just we're waiting on the stainless steel sill that goes in the top, countertop.
Good.
So,
Any other items related to the stadium?
Any other questions over here? No?
Board happy with what they've seen?
I was gonna say, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
A lot of compliments from people.
great.